All right, y'all, I'm sporting my University of Central Florida gear today in honor of two people. The first is the head softball coach, Coach Cindy Ball Malone, which happens to be my cousin-in-law. And the second is Malachi Lawrence, who is only the fifth player in UCF history to ever be drafted in the first round. So congratulations to Mr. Lawrence. And congratulations to all the good things happening down at UCF with softball and Coach Ball Malone. Now, let's talk about some things that are happening in the portal. Men's basketball court portal closed a while ago. We had 1,365 men enter the portal, and right now 576 have committed. So that means that roughly 58% is getting a little full over there, sitting on the couch. Now, there's time, okay? And so, because just at the time of the year, athletes still have an opportunity to get situated. Just some quick stats from last year. Last school year, there were, let me find the numbers, 66% of men's basketball players that entered the portal were successful. So that means that 34% over there, mama's couch, and 77% of women's basketball transfer portal entrants were successful. Okay? Now, a successful transfer under the NCAA rubric is that these athletes ended up at another NCAA school, regardless of division and regardless of who they went with financial aid or not, scholarship. Okay. So later I will unpack all the things around the latest news, latest stats from the NCAA on last year's transfer portal, but those are some current numbers for you. Now, let's turn to the draft, which just ended. The draft left a lot of guys that were getting paid with nothing, unpaid, didn't get drafted. Here's a couple of examples. We got two that I want to talk about in particular, then a third. Joey Aguilar. If you recall, Joey Aguilar transferred to University of Tennessee. Joey was making $1.2 million last year. He brought a suit against the NCAA because he wanted a seventh year of eligibility. And the NCAA's like, no, and his suit was not successful. Additionally, we had Chandler Morris, who was at the University of Virginia, who took them to their first ACC championship in forever, maybe forever, okay? Chandler was making about $1.5 million. He also did not get drafted. He also brought suit against the NCAA for a seventh year of eligibility. And the court's like, nah, you done. It's time to go. Time to go. Okay? Now, the most interesting example of the one who didn't get drafted was Diego Pavia, who was at Vanderbilt, took them to a 10-3 season. They never had a 10 games winning season, was the Heisman runner-up, and did not get drafted. And not only did he not get drafted, he did not get picked up as an undrafted free agent. And so he is attending a mini camp under an invitation. So these three in particular, and countless others, okay, who now just trying to hang on. At best, if they make a team, they'll be making league minimum, which is $885,000. Now, let's not grieve $885,000. Let's just not, okay? But certainly, it's a huge pay cut. And when's the last time you took a 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% pay cut? Regardless of what your compensation is, when's the last time you took a pay cut like this? So I am hopeful that these young men made some good decisions with respect to this money that they were earning early in their career, so they have some opportunity to stretch that out and still have a good quality of life. Now, if they are unsuccessful getting league minimum, so making the team, but they make the practice squad, they'll get $248,000 a year. You can also live off of that. Okay, so, but that's a 90% pay cut for Diego Pavia, right? So there's just a lot of money at play here in college, and these athletes are now facing the real consequences of having made a lot of money early in their careers and now being regular people like the rest of us. Okay, that time is always going to come because college is a limited duration activity, and we are not trying to stretch it to be something more than it's not. Recall the NCAA is really thinking about this 5 for 5 rule, and they might be bringing emergency legislation to get that sucker introduced in the summer so it will be effective in the fall. Don't know how that would work out. Just wanted to remind you that these hangers-on looking for 7-8 years, NCAA was like, we just need to change the rule because this is not going to work. Okay. Now, that's the draft. News out of Texas Tech today. Brendan Sorsby, the transfer QB who transferred from Cincinnati to Texas Tech in this last football portal, who was purportedly offered a package of in excess of $5 million, an NIL package, with Texas Tech, has entered inpatient treatment for a gambling addiction. And he's on an indefinite leave of absence. Now, if you recall, Brendan Sorsby is currently being sued by the University of Cincinnati because his contract with them, his NIL agreement, had a $1 million buyout if he hit the transfer portal. It is not in dispute that the contract had a $1 million buyout. He had to pay them 30 days. Within 30 days of transferring, the 30 days came and went. He's like, I ain't paying it. I just ain't gonna pay it. Come get me. And so they've attempted to do so. Today, he had an opportunity to make a filing in court, and he's filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. So we will see how the court rules on that motion to make that lawsuit go away. Now, it is unfortunate that we find ourselves here with this addiction issue. This gambling addiction. Now, according to On3.com, he bet on Indiana games while he was a student athlete at Indiana back in 2022, and he has placed thousands of bets via a gambling app on his phone since then. Thousands of bets. Now, this could have a severe impact on his eligibility. He only had 1 year left, and he was going to maximize it with $5 million on the way out the door with Texas Tech. He was supposed to be the person who was going to take him back to the Big 12 championship, the college football playoff, all of that. Now, it could affect his eligibility because the NCAA has fairly fast, strong rules around this that they have been enforcing. So you are not allowed to bet on your own team at all. And betting on professional teams is also not prohibited, is also prohibited. And so his penalties could range from loss of 10% of his remaining eligibility to all of his remaining eligibility. Excuse me. We will see how this plays out. So we are wishing him well because it's a very serious thing to have an addiction, so much so that you need to have inpatient treatment to try to recover. I got to take a sip of water. But we certainly do wish him well. So, we were speculating back in February that he had the $1 million. He just needed to pay it. Now, if this addiction was in play at that point, which it probably was, perhaps he didn't have the $1 million because as soon as he was earning or generating this money, he was spending it on gambling. So it is definitely a cautionary tale because these apps make all of this activity to place these prop bets and these line bets just right there. It's instantaneous. You don't even have to think about it, which is the problem. You don't even have to think about it. So please be careful as this kind of gambling becomes more prevalent and it becomes easier and easier to place these bets because they're so accessible and it's so immediate and you don't give yourself a moment to catch your breath and make a different decision. So all the best to Mr. Sorsby, and we will talk to you next time. As always, let me know what you think.